20 dry Pennsylvania towns voted recently on whether or not to serve alcohol. Good news, folks, we went 19 for 20.
I've got a honey of a beer, straight from the days of Beowulf.
You enjoy that, I'll probably stick with this. From the Bridgeport Brew Pub by Conshohocken Brewing, he's Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. Welcome to What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
Battlefield ready! Hurry to your spot! Advance around!
Whoa!
Fire!
Do it again!
Who are you?
Whoa! Hey, do you guys want to come with us?
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow. This is noted beer authority Joe Sixpack. We are at the lovely beer garden, Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub. It rained earlier in the day, but it's skies are okay now. People starting to come out. We're here in the late afternoon, kind of a happy hour time. Really nice atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. You know, that's the nature of Philly weather, I guess. These storms come and go, but you know, it's nice to sit out. We got umbrellas here too.
And it doesn't stop the beer drinking crowd. Although we are starting our beer swap today with not beer. This was your idea, Joe Sixpack.
Well, it is beer. It's honey beer. It's beer made with honey, which is a fermentable alcohol or a fermentable sugar. We can do that.
Okay. All right. Tell me about the honey beer.
All right. So, well, actually, you brought me one first.
All right.
So,
yes, I did.
yes.
I brought you Collaborate from the Bee's Knees Hazy IPA by Double Nickel Brewing. We've
Right.
had their stuff before.
It's actually Bee's
Good
Knees
stuff.
made by the Collaborate. It's a collaboration beer.
Oh, okay.
So,
There you go.
all right. So this is a IPA that I've heard about, and it's also made by a bunch of breweries that are raising money for food charities.
Very nice. $1.50 per can goes to local charities.
It's pretty
Very nice.
substantial. you
Yeah,
think
that
about it.
really is.
Yeah.
Well, here's to
Cheers.
ya.
First beer.
You go first.
All right, so here's what I think about this beer, because I did actually taste it earlier.
Yeah.
It's got a honey base to it, and you can get that in the background, but it's an IPA by nature, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like the second sip better than the first. It kind
Okay.
of works.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem particularly strong. I don't know what the
I'm not
alcohol
sure
is.
what the
6.2. Okay, that's
about-
moderate
about
beer. A little bit of sweetness, but not too much. And yes, I get the IPA, the sense of the
Yeah,
IPA
I think they're
out
playing
of it.
off the IPA more. It's a great idea, too, the idea of raising all that money for food charities.
I do
so.
like that. Uses local ingredients, honey from Fruitwood Orchards in Monroeville, New Jersey, malts from Rabbit Hill Farm in Shiloh, New Jersey. So I respect that. I think
All right,
that's a good
so I heard the suggestion that maybe, just maybe, that wasn't strong enough for you, Glenn. So I brought you something a little bit more substantial.
All right, what do you got?
This one's from Flying Fish, Exit 3, Braggot, Blueberry Braggot Honey Ale. It's a mere 15% alcohol.
Whoa.
So let's give this a shot.
Yeah, shot. Here's to you. Ooh. Hello.
That is a
Whoa.
Wow.
That's beer syrup right
There's-
there.
yeah, there's
That's
a lot
really strong
a
stuff.
lot going on. Well, it is, first of all, 12 ounces will.
I could not drink a bottle
We'd
of
have to
that.
share this. We'd have
Yeah.
to share it. And, you know, I think more of a dessert kind of beer. But essentially what they did with this beer is Braggot is a historical beer in which it was a combination or a blend of beer and mead. Mead is a old honey beer, or actually a honey wine. And as
All right, let's talk about mead, because I know this is your new thing. You're always expanding horizons, and I appreciate that you expand mine. Mead is now going to be a thing on the market. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not sure, but I do know that we now in Philadelphia have a new meadery, the first meadery.
Meadery is what we call it?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
a winery, okay.
Right, exactly, or
All right.
brewery. And in this case, this is from Philadelphia Meadwell, which is up in North Philadelphia, and they just launched this brand. Really, by the time this is aired, it'll be open for tasting.
Okay.
So mead is an alcohol, not unlike wine or beer, but instead of grain or grapes, it's made with honey.
Honey. So I did a little reading up on this. Mead is thought to be the oldest alcoholic beverages known to man. Hopefully not this particular bottle. Most likely, they say, discovered by accident when some thirsty hunter-gatherers discovered an upturned beehive filled with rainwater.
Totally makes sense. I mean, it would be. I mean, we weren't smart
Where
enough
is
to
it?
make this, but here we
okay.
go.
That's quite the color there.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful honey aroma, I think.
Yeah, you know, I guess if you really like honey, I'm not a person who puts honey in a lot of stuff, but I'll try anything. Let's see. Yeah, that's really sweet.
It's sweet and fruity.
Oh.
Not overly sweet to me, but it tastes. This is more towards the wine end of things.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
there you go. I got to read you this. So,
All right.
This is a recipe for mead from Columella, the Hispanic Roman naturalist from the year 60 AD. Take rainwater kept for several years, mix a sectarius of this water. How much is a sectarius?
It's more than a gallon, I think.
Okay. With a Roman pound of honey. For a weaker mead, mix a sectarius of water with 9 ounces of honey, expose it to the sun for 40 days, and then leave it on a shelf near the fire.
Right.
So there you go. Last question on this. Is this the next hard lemonade? Is this the next root beer, or is this going to catch on?
No, in fact, I've actually written about this over the years, and it always seems like right around the corner there's going to be another mead revolution. But it's small, it's a limited market for it. It's hard to make, although these guys at Philadelphia Meadwell are doing a little bit more than the rain bucket idea of production.
I
And
do have a beehive attached to my house. No, there's a wasp hive. Probably
Yeah.
doesn't work with that.
so, you know what? It's fun to try. It's not something you're going to drink every day, but it's definitely.
If you have it on your shelf, it's kind of impressive.
Yeah,
Who would like a
absolutely.
nice mead? I don't know. Me, I'm going to stick with the summer beers. And coming up, we're going to talk to one of the great brewers here at Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub, about some of the summer beers here. Coming up next on What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddlers Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly blonde ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. The warm weather is here, so you can enjoy yourself on one of our outdoor spaces. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beers at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing from the Beer Garden, Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub, Glen Macnow Joe Sixpack, joined by a hero of mine, one of the guys who's been one of the original brewers here at Conshohocken Brew Pub, Gordon Grubb. And Gordon, you poured us a nice summer, what are we drinking here?
This is Summer
ale.
Madness, it's called.
Summer Madness.
Yeah, when this comes in this pretty can that Will made. It's a farmhouse beer using this Norwegian farmhouse yeast that we've been playing around with, that we're pretty excited about. It's kind of got a lime, herbal, sage kind of thing. And we use just a little bit of citrusy hops that goes with that. Just like a real easy crushing summer day kind of beer.
The actual can I can see from here, it says it's crushable.
Yeah.
What defines a crushable beer besides the can
Do you
itself?
want me to show you? Like you can easily guzzle the beer.
Okay, all right.
And you know,
So
it's
is that what a summer beer is, you think? Just easy to drink?
easy to drink, refreshing. I mean, it can certainly have a lot of flavor, but it shouldn't be. You know, some beers are sippers and some are guzzlers. And yeah, I think that's a real important.
So out here,
Typically less alcohol.
out here in the beer garden, you probably don't want a sipping beer unless it's maybe late at night by the fire, maybe,
Sure,
or something. But
sure.
for the most part, you want something crushable. So that leads me to ask one basic question: why did you guys pour me all dark beers here on this side here?
The bartender doesn't like you very much. You should tip better.
I should have known.
It's the effect of the variety. I know our Philly Vice, the Blueberry Vice.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of that.
Yeah. The Blueberry Berliner Weiss. Low alcohol, tart, in this case 4-1, bunch of blueberries.
Every time I see this, I'm just
Making a
a
pretty
little
pink
bit,
color.
you know, you got to get
Yeah.
used to the color.
Yeah.
Grapefruit juice.
So Berliner Weiss, a famous beer style in your background. You've been brewing it for how many years? Even before Conchi, correct?
Oh yeah, since I've been.
Yeah.
A long time.
So it's a style of beer that was not particularly popular for many, many years until you were at Notting Head, I know. It took off there. Now you see it everywhere. What's going on? Why do we have so many Berliner Weisses out there?
I think, well, enough people tried it. In part, when we did it at Notting Head, in 2005, the Craft Brewers Conference was in Philadelphia, and they were at the Marriott, which was just a few blocks away. Most of the brewers came over. We had Berliner on for that because, you know, we knew that's the kind of thing brewers geek out about. Most of them tried it. Some of those fools went home and tried to make it. Sometimes it worked. At some point along the way, people started adding fruit to it here and there, and which works very well because it's already light-bodied and tart.
And it's not sweet either. I mean, you get
No.
the fruit flavor, but not the sweetness.
It's dry, it's tart, it's not bitter, it's not sweet. It's generally very refreshing, and so it works well with fruits.
All right,
without being
let's get
overpowered.
the third one here, the Blood Money, which I know has been very popular. And as you pour that, Gordo, I want to ask you a little bit about some of the things going on with the brewery, which is big happenings in King of Prussia.
Yes.
Tell us about what's happening.
Well, we're opening a new production facility in King of Prussia with tap room. The tap room's open. The production facility's almost functioning. Almost.
This
but-
is a beautiful beer.
It is.
It really is. It defines summer beer to me. See, you've brought me around, Joe Sixpack, to liking fruit in beers more than I used to. I
Right.
give you a lot of credit for that. But this one, a little bit of an orange in a beer is so nice.
I get
in the
more like
summer.
an orange rind, orange peel kind of flavor at it. But I guess that's the nature of blood orange. It's almost sort of close to grapefruit, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say opposed to like a Valencia orange, it's sort of moving that way. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so King of Prussia, anyway, how much is that going to increase capacity?
It's going to increase capacity. It'll nearly triple
Wow.
our capacity. We should be able to do more different things in addition to just more quantity. We've been using a mobile canner, or we have our own canning line. It'll give us a lot more flexibility.
That's a pretty big facility. How many? I know we've talked about this before, but how big is that brew house there?
The new brew house is 30 barrels.
And that compares to how big in your original brewery?
It was 15 barrels.
And in this facility here in Conchi, Bridgeport?
Is 3 barrels.
Right, so that's a big scaling
That's a
difference.
huge. It's a big difference.
Are they going to let you work on that? Big
I mean, nobody said no.
Okay, then take that
I
as
mean,
a yes.
you know, let me, make me. I mean, you know,
And so that is open now for the public.
Yes.
Okay, so they can go there. They can come here to Bridgeport, Conshohocken, Phoenixville, and my neighborhood, the Town Tap in Havertown.
You're everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all.
It's going well.
yeah.
Gordon, here's to you. Great stuff.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thank you for terrific beer.
Cheers.
Always fun. Coming up, we started with 36 beers in our IPA brew down. We're down to final 4. Let's take a look at those. Next, from the Bridgeport Brew Pub, the Beer Garden, Conshohocken Brewing Company, on What's Brewing.
Make your day golden with a smooth, refreshing Yuengling Golden Pilsner. From America's oldest brewery, created by Yuengling's newest generation. It's a refreshing take on Pilsner. For a refreshing take on what's to come. Make your day golden. Yuengling Golden Pilsner.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We are at the Conshohocken Brewing Company Bridgeport Brew Pub out on the Beer Garden. Just a great place. We were right on the Schuylkill
is
River,
like 15
man.
feet behind us here.
I know. Look at that. And the Schuylkill looks nice up here, actually.
It does. It's
Yeah.
you know, they did a good job cleaning up that river.
They did a good job cleaning up that river. All season long on this show, we have been running a great idea by you, our IPA brew down. Because 32 wasn't enough, you made it 36. We had play-in games and so on. And
4
really,
different divisions.
Yeah, different divisions. And we are down to the final 4, which we're going to do today. Next week, we're going to do the championship. So that's going to be exciting. But let's get to the final 4. One of the divisions that we had was this one, which was the Mythical Beast.
Mythical Beast,
Okay,
the Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA.
Okay, define Mythical Beast
Okay,
first.
these are the kind of beers that people line up for.
Uh-huh.
They come out, not always. Here, try
Yeah.
this one, a little bit easier.
There you
Glenn. They come out. They're not on the shelves all the time. Some, mostly they're seasonals. In this case, this one comes out about 2 or 3 times a year, and it's really special because, among other things, it's got 18% alcohol,
Yeah.
so it's a
Among
big beer.
other things, by the way, when I didn't notice this when I picked it up at the beer store because I bought a bunch of stuff. $13.25
Not
for a
cheap.
12-ounce bottle of beer.
Yeah, it's not a cheap beer.
This is $4 right here in this tiny little taster.
Let me just say that you've got to put this at a different level of beer. First of all, with that
The
much,
cops are coming to get us for this one. That's how expensive it was. All right,
with this much alcohol, you could savor this beer, and you could also cellar it and have it over time.
okay, so let's give this a taste. I get it. It's almost not an IPA to me.
I think it's closer to being a barley wine.
it is.
It's sweetness to it. So,
I get it. I respect it. What did it go up against?
well, at the other end of the spectrum, it was in the up against the from the go-to beers, which is the opposite end, which is the beers that you can get all the time, and this is the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
Kind of fan favorites.
Yeah, it is. It's from Michigan, and it's available. You find this beer all the time in any beer store almost. It's just basically a flagship beer and an excellent one, in my opinion.
And Bell's is not quite up there with Jim Cook and Boston Lager or Yuengling, but it's
in terms of the ubiquity,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. But I do think that they make some of the best.
no,
beers
yeah, I'm
around,
talking about
yeah.
in terms of size,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they are very popular.
Very much lot easier to drink.
I
than
like
120.
this beer, and so the winner was.
Well, the winner was, and it was a little bit close, but it was the Bell's Two-Hearted
It was.
Ale beating out the 120-minute IPA.
It was a close one. It was like
Dogfish.
53 to 47. So
Yeah.
they are in the finals
Yeah.
next week. The Bells.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Next matchup. Here you go. This one kind of cruised through our Pennsylvania Wait, was it Pennsylvania? What was the name of the
Yes,
division?
it was. The
Okay.
Keystone Keepers.
Keystone Keepers. God, you are so clever on this thing. You're way playing well. But this is the Tired Hands Alien Church.
Right. This is
one of their real really good IPAs.
Rather, Tired Hands is such a huge favorite. People line up for their beers.
Mm-hmm.
People are very proud to get this beer out in Ardmore. It's available, obviously, now in 4-packs, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got a great rep as one of those almost cult-style beers, but cloudy, hazy IPA. It's up your
Cloudy,
alley,
hazy,
right?
it is. I like the hazy IPAs.
Wow, lots of like big, fruity, hoppy aroma on it. Wow.
Yeah, that's a nice beer. That is. That's a really nice, kind of right up my alley, hazy, citrusy, tasty IPA.
Yeah, it's an excellent beer.
And as I said, they kind of cruise through the PA division, which put them up against the Yo I'm from Jersey, a little regional rivalry there.
Yes, exactly.
Who won the Jersey division?
This one from Ship Bottom, the Shack. This one was sort of like a dark horse through the whole thing because there's a lot of great breweries in New Jersey these days, and the folks from Ship Bottom are making some. We've been there a couple
Yeah, good
times.
friends of ours. We went out to their place and we did their beer garden at Lynn Villa.
Exactly. So
Both
they're making
really nice.
excellent beers. This to me is a basic IPA. To me, this is what an IPA used to be like. I guess it's not particularly. Whoops, a little bit foamy. Sorry about that. It was
That's
a bad pour,
okay.
Glenn.
Been there myself.
It's crisp, it's clean,
Yeah, it's nice.
very enjoyable, easy drinking, I think, just like what I think of when I think of an IPA.
Ship Bottom has done a very nice job with all of their beers. One of my favorites is the stout, the Mexican stout
Yes,
they do that's
yeah.
got hints of chocolate.
Maybe
I love
that's-
that beer.
Next year, maybe we do a stout
Stouts?
round?
We can do a stoutathon?
Yeah, stout.
Maybe. All right, so let's get to it. The winner is...
The winner on this one is from the Keystone Keepers Tired Hands Alien Church.
All right, so that sets it up for the finals next week on our what's going to be our last show of the season. It is going to be the Tired Hands Alien Church versus the Bell's Two Hearted Ale. Joe Sixpack, who you got?
Oh man, I don't like
Local
to bet money on
favorite?
beer.
Or you want to go the national? What do you want to do?
I'm very reluctant to say. I want to keep the odds
All
down
right.
in my favor.
There you go. Okay, so we will, by the way, we always post these on my Twitter page at Real Glen Macnow, at his, at Beer Radar, and you can always find us through the show at What's Brewing PA. We love to hear from the people, and we want a lot of votes in this one because it's going to be pretty exciting. All right, coming up, we found somebody who makes ice cream out of beer. How about, and they use this beer. Great stuff. That's coming up next on What's Brewing.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Beer Garden, the lovely Beer Garden, Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow, joined by Megan Wright, who's got her own business, Philadelphia Brews Creamery. Joe Sixpack, you combine beer and ice cream. To me, that's a party.
It is. We've done the whole the beer shakes over the years, but
Yeah.
we've never had really. Well, we have had tastes of sort of beer ice cream, but this is a local product.
No, this is local. So Megan, how did you get started doing this?
Well, it started with the Sweet Baby Jesus. I started making brownies using beer,
Okay.
and they turned out fantastic. Everyone loved them.
That's
And
the peanut butter beer.
Yeah, peanut butter porter.
Okay, all right.
From DeClaw. And friends of mine bought me an ice cream maker as a birthday present, and I started experimenting and fell in love with ice cream, unfortunately, 20 pounds later, but delicious all the same.
So what works and what doesn't work? What have you found that works really well?
I would say dark beers, stouts, porters work really well. I've made a bacon toffee ice cream before for a brewery from their Rausch beer. The sours work great. The wheat beers that are flavored work great in ice creams. If you can use fresh ingredients.
So a nice variety. So this is just a burgeoning business that you started on your own in your own home?
Yes, yes.
If people want to find this, can they buy it from you?
They can. I do a featured flavor every week at the Abbey. It's called Free Ice Cream Sunday. And you get a free scoop of ice cream made with beer.
Mm-hmm. You have a website or a Twitter handle?
I do.
How do they find
It's www.philadelphiabrewscreamery.com.
PhiladelphiaBrewsCreamery.com. This is great stuff.
And can you order this online then?
You can order it online. If you're a brewery, you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to make ice creams for festivals.
With your beers?
Or your in-house serving purposes.
You did a great job with this one. This is really a nice use of the Philly Vice.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, really, Glenn, we've done the beer and the ice cream in the past, but now having it together in one package is such a great time.
It is really nice and very creative.
Yeah.
Joe Sixpack, quick issue we got to get to. There were votes recently in 20 Pennsylvania municipalities. This has become a thing on whether or not these were dry towns that didn't serve alcohol, couldn't buy it in a bar, whatever. And voters in 19 of those 20 towns said, that's silly, we want to do it. What's the trend here? What's going on?
Well, I think generally people have discovered that breweries are good for the community. They bring in They bring in people. They often the breweries, as in this Conchi, they advertise the name of the town, and certainly they're a great place for the locals to congregate and bring in new visitors. So I think there's generally a positive spin on breweries these days.
All right, I had read a very good piece by Maria Panaritis of the Inquirer, very solid writer, who talked about how one of the forces behind this is the supermarkets, because they want to sell beer and they've got to get the towns to go along.
Right. I mean, it's an obvious. They got the money too. I mean,
right. They can spend the money on the campaigns.
But in some of the cases, like West Grove down in Chester County, the whole effort was led by a local restaurant and owned by some home brewers, and they wanted to have a small brewery in their place.
Okay. I said it was 19 for 20. What's the town that didn't come through?
I have no idea.
Oh, hold on. I got it written down here. Let me find it. Fawn Grove in York County voted against it 32 to 31.
Oh,
well,
crying out loud.
Anyway,
please.
I'll take 19 for 20 anytime. Megan, thank you so much for joining us and making us just this terrific ice cream. Joe Sixpack, always a pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next week from right here, the Beer Garden at Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub, on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Macnow Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.